Seven Deadly Sins isn't just about divine smackdowns and overpowered demons. Beneath the chaos and flashy magic lies a story stitched together by sorrow, sacrifice, and soul-crushing tragedy. Every character carries a wound, some visible, others buried beneath centuries of pain. Love is cursed, loyalty is punished, and victory often comes at the cost of something irreplaceable. These aren't just emotional gut punches. They are moments that define the story, break the characters, and leave fans staring at the screen in silent devastation. This video will feature the 5 most heartbreaking moments that shattered hearts across Britannia. Before we dive into this emotional roller coaster ride, don't forget to like and subscribe. Number 5. Jerichos' true feelings. From the moment Bond stepped onto the scene, his charm left a lasting impression on many. But none more than Jericho, a holy knight who had long been mistaken for a man. Bond, with his sharp instincts and teasing nature, saw through the surface and recognized her true self. That simple recognition planted the seed of affection, and over time, Jericho's admiration for him blossomed into something more profound. Her feelings only intensified when Bond risked everything to save her from a cruel fate, rescuing her from the brink of becoming a demon when all hope had faded. After Bond parted ways with the leading group, Jericho chose to follow him, determined to stay by his side whether he approved or not. Their journey took a darker turn when Bond's beloved, Elaines, returned from the dead under the influence of a twisted, malicious force. While Bond refused to fight Elaines, clinging to the woman he once knew, Jericho was forced to defend herself against a jealous and enraged spirit. In the heat of their struggle, Jericho broke down and confessed her feelings. Through tears, she admitted that she knew Bond's heart belonged to Elaines, the woman who haunted his dreams and consumed his thoughts. Bond's love for Elaines had driven him to defy death itself, and Jericho understood her own love could never compare. But even with a heart that would never be returned, she vowed to protect him. With unwavering devotion, Jericho made it her mission to save both Bond and Elaines when they could no longer protect themselves. Number 4. Fraudins' death acceptance. Fraudin, a powerful demon, had spent years hidden within the body of Jerichos, one of the kingdom's most respected knights, and a key member of the royal inner circle. While maintaining this facade, Fraudin earned the trust of Jerichos' comrades, and even took on the role of a guardian to Jerichos' son, Griamor, raising him as if he were his own. When the demons launched their assault on Elaines, Fraudin finally revealed his true identity, helping the demon clan seize the castle. However, Jerichos' allies, Hendrickson and Zartras, intervened and used their combined magic to forcibly drive the demon from Jerichos' body. Desperate to survive, Fraudin tried to re-enter the body, but Meliodas arrived to finish the fight. Cornered and without hope of escape, Fraudin began gathering his energy to self-destruct, planning to wipe out as many people as possible in a final act of vengeance. Meliodas was unmoved and stated that as long as Fraudin died, nothing else mattered. Just before the explosion could take place, Griamor, now magically transformed into a child, stepped between them and used his power to trap himself and Fraudin in a magical barrier. Pleading with the demon to stop, Griamor's innocent voice reached the heart of the creature who had raised him. Memories of the time they spent together flooded Fraudin's mind. The bond he had formed with Griamor, once just part of his disguise, had become something genuine. Overcome with emotion, Fraudin broke down in tears, unable to harm the boy he had come to love like a son. Letting go of his hatred, he called off the self-destruction and looked to Meliodas with one final request: end his life. Number 3. Shivagos' emotional backstory. During their journey, Bond and Jericho encountered a magical beastman, a foxman named Shivagos. When the old creature fell ill, the two brought him to an inn to rest. There, Shivagos opened up about a painful chapter of his past and revealed a lifetime of regret. Shivagos once had a biological son, also a foxman. Although Shivagos could control his transformations, he kept his son hidden while venturing into town to gather supplies. On one of those trips, he came across a human child, alone and abandoned. Taking pity on the boy, Shivagos took him in and taught him how to survive through stealing. The child came to trust no one but Shivagos, who became his only family. One day, Shivagos saw the human child being brutally beaten in town. Before he could act, he learned that a mob had formed to hunt a young foxman spotted on the outskirts. Faced with an impossible choice, Shivagos ran to save his biological son, leaving the human boy behind. But when he arrived, it was already too late because his son had been killed, and with that, Shivagos realized he had lost both children that day. Tears streaming down his face, he confessed his failure to Ban, believing he had no right to forgiveness. But Ban, his voice steady, revealed the truth that he was the human child Shivagos had once raised. Without hesitation, Ban told Shivagos he bore no resentment. In fact, had Shivagos chosen him over his own son, Ban admitted he could never have forgiven that. To Ban, Shivagos had always been the only true father figure in his life. Hearing those words, Shivagos smiled through the pain. Cradled in Ban's arms, he passed away peacefully, with his heart finally unburdened by guilt and his soul embraced by forgiveness. Number 2. Elaine's unforgettable decision. Elaine and Ban shared one of the most unforgettable romances in Seven Deadly Sins. It all began when Ban sought the Fountain of Youth, where Elaine served as its guardian, protecting the sacred water that sustained the Fairy King's forest. Ban initially tried to steal it, but as he heard Elaine's warnings, he couldn't ignore the sincerity in her words. He apologized for his actions, confessing that, like her, he too distrusted humans. Over time, Elaine began to warm to Ban, secretly dreaming of a life where he would whisk her away from her duties as the forest's protector. Ban promised Elaine that if they could ever travel together, he would find her brother and restore his role as guardian so that Elaine could finally be free. But when a demon attacked the forest, Ban tried to stop it, only to be struck down mercilessly. As the flames consumed the forest, Elaine begged Ban to drink from the Fountain of Youth to save himself. But Ban, knowing how much the forest meant to her, refused. He wanted Elaine to protect it, even if it meant sacrificing his own life. Elaine, accepting his wish, drank the water herself. But before she did, she kissed Ban and passed the water to him instead. This noble sacrifice allowed Ban to gain the strength he needed to defeat the demon. But as he cradled Elaine in his arms, heartbroken and desperate, he tearfully promised her that he would take her away and make her his. But Elaine had already passed, leaving Ban to question whether she had heard his final words or if they would remain forever lost in the flames of the forest. Number 1. Esganors' last sacrifice. Esganor allowed his power to consume his body in a final bid to help his friends. As the flames burned away his body, he spoke his last words to each of them. But the emotional depth was most intense when he spoke to Merlin. Esganor had always loved her, and in his final moments, he reaffirmed his feelings, even knowing that Merlin never loved him in the same way. Merlin apologized, saying that if Esganor had come into her life at a different time, perhaps she would have fallen for him. But she had always seen him as nothing more than a subject. Esganor, at peace with that, was content knowing that he had taken up even a small corner of Merlin's heart. Despite Esganor's warning for everyone to stay back, Merlin stepped forward and kissed him, burning herself in the process. She told him that she would allow the burns to scar her body forever, as a reminder that Esganor had existed, that there was one man who had truly loved her. As Esganor carried on his final words, he recited a poem with his tears being burned away alongside his body. Seven Deadly Sins might be a tale of battles, curses, and heroes, but it's the heartbreaking moments that make it unforgettable. Every tear shed, every life lost, and every love sacrificed hits harder than any sword strike. These moments remind us that in the world of the sins, victory isn't always what it seems, and sometimes the greatest strength lies in surviving the pain. So next time you watch, remember, it's not just the battles that define these characters, but how they rise from their deepest heartbreaks.